are listening to the OMG Podcast. Here's your host, Paul Finkelstein.
Hey everybody, I'm Paul Finkelstein at omgtalkshow.com or omgtalk.com, that is. And I have a special guest today. You can see on the screen there, and the guy next to me. We're live here, live on screen, live everywhere, live on Twitter, live on YouTube, live on LinkedIn, and live at Dunkin' Donuts in Delray Beach, just east of Military Trail on Atlantic Avenue, with a personal trainer extraordinaire. I got some questions to ask him and learn all about his Be Fit training business.
Yes.
So how are you today, Arnold Kassi?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me today.
It's fantastic to have you. So let's dive into some questions. And here's a tip, by the way.
Yes.
Make sure that you answer some of these questions, not just in a 1 or 2 minute answer like a nugget, because facts tell, but stories really do sell. So try to answer your stories in a 5-minute story. So if you have a personal story from a client or a family or yourself, it's better, and try to tell us the details of that story in 5 to 7 minutes. It'll make us go longer, but it'll be well worth the time.
Of course.
So let's see. Let's ask you our first question. So in weight training, when it comes to weight training or cardio, so there's weight training where I'm familiar with, you have weights.
Yes.
And then cardio is something else. But which is better? Maybe you should tell us, what is cardio, what is weight training, and what's better?
Okay. Well, to be able to really understand the difference between the two, we have to understand what the word cardio means. As you know, the root of the word cardio has to do with cardia, meaning the heart. So in this case, it is an exercise that's geared toward heart performance, and therefore is very beneficial for anybody that's looking to improve their main muscle, which would be your heart, and hence the reason why cardio is recommended by so many doctors. Now, as far as weight training is concerned, although the heart is still involved, it requires other muscles to get that blood stimulation. So hence the difference between the two.
Did you happen to say which one of those you could lose weight from, weight training or cardio? Or
okay,
both?
that is a great question. So there is a myth out there that in order to lose weight, all one needs to do is just a lot of cardio and a lot of running, and which is great. It's very direct and efficient, but the benefit that weight training has over cardio is the fact that in weight training, the muscles that are being stimulated will require blood movement to continue for up to 4 hours, even after the exercise is completed. Whereas with a cardio exercise, once we're done running or done swimming, the stimulation won't continue for a much longer period. It'll be over whenever it's over.
How's that for our first $1 million question there with Arnold Kassi here on omgtalkshow.com. Let's dive into our second $1 million question here for Arnold Kassi.
Excited.
So what is your favorite exercise or move, as you like to call it?
Okay, so that's a very good question. Although they're all very beneficial in the grand scheme of things, I do love any kind of row exercise, whether it's a double pulley row or just a regular old row on a machine. But the reason why that one is specifically my favorite is the fact that the row engages every single muscle in our back, and also you get the benefit of having the biceps engage as well. So in total, I do believe there's about 8 muscles being activated with that single exercise, and it also works on bettering your posture, which is everybody's looking for.
Well, thank you for that, Arnold Kassi. We're going to move on to our third $1 million question. That's This is $1 million bill, by the way. Well, I wish it was real because we'd be breaking this open and going to town for sure.
Yes.
But that being said, our next $1 million question is, what is one of the most important muscles to work on?
All
What
right. Very good question. I usually get this question asked a lot. I would say the most important muscle to work on will definitely be um, your glutes. So I know it's kind of a answer that's out there, but the glutes are the great stabilizer of the body. They're also the strongest muscle in the entire body when it comes to weight training. And by having strong glutes, you're basically setting the tone for a strong foundation. And we all know that you can't build a strong house on a weak foundation, but you can definitely build a strong house on a strong foundation. And therefore, by working your glutes and activating, them to their fullest extent, you can therefore easily achieve any other muscle activation since they set the tone for everything else.
You are listening to Arnaud Cassie here in Delray Beach, Florida, about 6 miles from the ocean. What a great paradise place to listen to your personal trainer extraordinaire show here on a Friday afternoon. So, Arnaud, are we going to move along to our $4 million question, if you will? And that is, what is the most ignored muscle when it comes to weight training?
Oh, excellent question. Now this one is one that most people probably haven't heard of, but the muscle itself, or the muscle, it's called the rhomboid. Um, Very, very important muscle when it comes to stabilizing the upper body. And basically, it is the clip in the back that allows your posture to remain at a, very straight um, angle as opposed to being curved forward like this. It's called a great clip because it clips your shoulders backward, therefore giving you that perfect posture. It is a tiny, tiny muscle, and the purpose of it is actually to kind of regulate the muscle that are adjacent to it, which would be your pectorals. And the fact that the pectorals are kind of pulling your body forward like this, you want to have a counterbalance in the back. So the rhomboids are the one that serve that purpose, and they're tiny muscles, so therefore requiring a lot of work to be able to create that balance.
Now, Arnold, we're going to move along to our $5 million question.
Yes.
I just have to keep showing everybody the $1 million bill here. Money seems to be on some people's minds, but money, of course, isn't everything, especially if it becomes to your health. And that's why we're here with Arnaud Cassie. So, our $5 million question is, how would you start a new client on their fitness journey?
Oh, that's a great, great question. As we know, sometimes people are hesitant to start a new fitness journey because they have no compass. They may have a goal in mind, but as far as how to achieve that goal, sometimes it's a little hard. So when I have a new client, the first thing I would do is perhaps find out what their goals are and create an easy route for them to kind of achieve that. And by not only talking to them and figuring out exactly what they're what they're what they're familiar with in the gym and what they're not so familiar with, and basically breaking down the science to a very, very minimal approach, meaning 3 machines at max, just to kind of get them started on that journey. And from there, we develop a program. But I would say even before that, one of the things I started doing is taking measurement prior to even starting the training, and that would also validate the training because we can always have a standard that we're trying to improve upon. And those are pretty much the components of how I approach a new client.
Excellent. And we are going to move along to our $6 million question. It makes me think of the $6 million man who was a very fit man at that, but I'm sure that was way before your time. But catch the reruns. I'm sure you might have heard of it. But
Yes.
while we're here, would you mind putting you on the spot? And if you'd like to, if you go to your Twitter account on your phone, Arnaud,
Yes.
and look up my Twitter
Okay.
at Paul Steven. So
Yeah.
it's at PaulSteven as in Victor EN at Paul Steven. You'll see this live feed and then reshare it onto your feed, and we'll capture a little bit of a audience. I'm not capture might be the wrong word, but let them know that you're here live,
All right. I'm almost there.
and then we'll save the rest of our show here for give Arnaud Cassie's audience a chance to hear him live.
That's correct.
That is on his hustling and bustling.
Now I know. I know you just give me.
And you could find Arnaud, by the way, in the link below this live stream. You'll see a link to his Twitter as well, and you could find him if you're looking for a personal trainer in the Delray Beach area. Or do you actually help people through telemedicine too? While you're looking for that,
Say that again.
help people through telemedicine and personal training through the computer if
Yeah.
you're not local to them.
Absolutely, absolutely. We do. We can train on Zoom. We can train on any platform where there's a visual medium.
Did you find my at Paul
I'm
Steven?
still looking.
At just Paul Steven. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't know where I am. I should show up. Maybe do the at sign. Maybe that
The at?
is that important to have on there?
Nope. Shouldn't be.
Because I'm pretty sure that's my handle is at Paul Steven. There it is
right
on
there.
top
I
right
guess
there.
it is.
And follow, and then the bottom one, click reshare on our live stream right there.
There, sure.
And then we'll
Perfect.
continue with hitting both of our audiences and letting them know all about some great, fascinating answers in the fitness journey of Arnaud Kassi and some great questions. So let's go with our number $6 million question for Arnaud Kassi,
Yes.
which is, what is the most challenging part about being a personal trainer? Is there any challenge to your job? But would I want to have your job, or is the grass greener on your side of the street or my side of the street?
Well, that's a very good question. I would say being a personal trainer is very rewarding in the sense that you are the steward of the captain of the ship. You're the one basically steering the direction of the journey when it comes to you and your clients, and they're relying on you. They're trusting you to achieve these goals. So I would say it has great benefits and obviously great responsibility. Um, it does have a bit of challenges sometimes. The challenges I would say come
When clients like me don't listen to you.
no no. I would say the greatest challenge is sometime getting clients to believe in themselves. Because I may know that the potential is there. I may know that they're capable of doing it, but it's sometimes convincing them that they can do whatever they set their mind to. And I think that's sometimes the most challenging because you're trying to connect to this person that you have faith in, but they don't have faith in themselves. So it's an uphill battle sometimes.
I thank you for that. Let's go to our $7 million question
Yes.
for Arnaud Kassi as we
Yes.
move along here on our Friday afternoon. So, how did you develop your passion for personal training? Why even do what you do? Why do you like personal training? Do you see yourself doing it for the next 10 to 20 years? Forever until you're 100 years old, like Jack LaLanne used to be? And you can Google Jack LaLanne if you don't know who he is.
Um, So I have a lot of passion for personal training. I believe that everybody should be their own trainer, but that does require the knowledge. Um, and I would say that's the reason why people come to me because I do possess that knowledge. But as far as passion is concerned, it has a direct link to knowledge as well. So I only started to develop passion once everything settled in my mind on the proper ways to perform all these exercises. Once that was achieved, then the passion slowly grew. It wasn't overnight. It was, through trials and error. And yeah, I would say that's one of the ways to cultivate passion in somebody. Just understand the science and fall in love with the science.
Thank you for that. We're going to move on to question number 8, or $1 million question number 8. And that's, I did mention Jack LaLanne. I did mention Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm sure
Yes.
maybe you can come up with some fitness greats, but who do you, Arnold Kassi, look up to in the fitness world? Maybe it's your manager at the gym. Maybe it's your co-partner in BFit Technologies, I want to say.
Right.
Who do you look up to in the fitness world?
Well, my father was a bodybuilder. Um, he actually named me Arnaud after Arnold Schwarzenegger, because we don't have the name Arnold in French, so this was the closest to it. And funny story enough, my middle name is actually Sylvester, so I'm also named after the one and only Sylvester Stallone. So um, it looks like my dad was hoping that I would follow in his footsteps, and the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, because it turned out I became a trainer for bodybuilders and for anybody that wants to, train and potentially lift some weights and get healthy.
It's no coincidence that I said Arnold Schwarzenegger
Yep, yep.
and
So,
Jack LaLanne,
yep.
and then he had to mention Sylvester.
The
I had
greats.
no idea that he was named after Sylvester Stallone. You heard it
Yes.
from the horse's mouth here, Arnold Kassi here. Um, Arnold Schwarzenegger should only hear this interview right now, make it all the way to him in his living room. Our $1 million question, again, our $9th million question. $9 million you're up to, Arnold Kassi. So you're feeling richer by the moment.
Yep.
What is the most important exercise ever in weight training? If you could just do this one exercise,
Yes.
and that would be your be all, end all, amazing exercise that you
Yes.
should do, you and anybody should do, or just you, we'll find out. What is the most important one?
So this is a great debate in the fitness community. A lot of people do believe that the deadlift is one of the staple of bodybuilding, and it's at the very base of the foundation. But I'm more in the camp of squats being the most beneficial exercise, and therefore the most important exercise. There's variation of squats. There's front squats. There's your elevated hill squats, your sumo squats. There's literally a plethora of squats that you can do. But what makes squats so efficient is the fact that they are compound movements that engage every single muscle of the lower part of the body. So your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes. If the hills are elevated, you also get to activate your calves. So basically, the entire chain of the foundation of the human body is being activated and challenged. Therefore, I highly, highly believe that squats are the best and the most important exercise.
Is there a specific method? I guess I can't ask you to demonstrate that on this, since we could only see from the waist up. But is that where you have to use a machine at a gym, or is that something you could be at the beach and work on squats? Is that like lunges as well?
Well, that's the great benefit about squats. There, you can do them anywhere, all variations. They don't require anything but you and your body and the movement. Obviously, the weights do, you know, add a significant amount of benefits, but a squat is a squat. So whether or not the weights are there or not, it's a squat.
You heard it. A squat is a squat, live here at omgtalk.com. Our $10 million question and our last
Yes.
question for you today.
Yes.
Of course, it's not over till it's over, until the fat lady sings. I had to say that. I don't know why in a fitness interview I have to say it. It's not over until the fat lady sings. But The biggest secret about speaking about that, the biggest secret about dieting. Please give us
Yes.
the secret. I can keep a secret. It's
Uh-huh.
just the people I tell. So the biggest secret about dieting is
Um, so I'm a big believer in not eating late at night. I'm a big believer in our specific cycle, whether it's the circadian cycle. I believe that nighttime involves a lot of different body function, such as the body getting prepared for sleep. So therefore, a lot of the muscles are relaxed. I know we do produce a high amount of hydrochloric acid at nighttime, but the fact that we're also laying down um, kind of affects the gravitation of the food in your stomach. Um, Whereas, being straight up like this, you'll be able to digest a little quicker. Um, by being, vertical or horizontal, your digestive uh, juices are not settled where they're supposed to be settled, therefore, kind of diminishing the digestion itself. So, to kind of make it a little simpler, um, I'm a firm believer that one is able to eat anything that they want in moderation, obviously, in the morning, but when the sun is slowly going down, that's when all of that consumption needs to diminish. And if one must eat, then a salad is your best friend, or even some sugar-free Jello. You can have as much sugar-free Jello as you want. A big tub like this will be only about 25 calories, so you can have as much and enjoy as much, and literally not regret anything.
I'm just curious how much sleep is important to all the above that we're talking about. Should we be
Excellent.
getting maybe 8, 10 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep, three
Well,
hours of sleep? How much sleep is ideal?
the I don't think the American lifestyle allows you to sleep for 10 hours. We're always on the go, on the go. Um, so that is a question that most science scientific people will tell you. Your 8 hours are required, but I've found out that my body operates on about a 3-hour cycle. So every 3 hours, I'm able to feel rejuvenated. So if I, couple that, it'll be about 6 hours. So that's all that I'm required to sleep, just about 6 hours or so, and I feel very fresh. I wake up energized every single morning. Um, I would say do what you can, but anywhere from 6 to 8, just like what we hear in the mainstream, is beneficial. But mine is about 6 hours.
I was going to end a $10 million question, but I think I'm up to $12 million question, and that's is it better to sleep vertically or horizontally? Like, is there anybody that has a way, like maybe astronauts, they're sleeping in a vertical position,
Right.
or are they in a non-vertical position? Is it better for us to
I
be?
would say I don't know. We're not we're not we're we're. I would say that sleeping horizontally like a normal human being would be the most beneficial, because I don't know if you try to sleep while standing. The last person that I know that did that, it didn't end up so well for them.
I mean, some people that might have a back issue and they can't sleep on one side
Right.
and they have to make do in some way. I imagine those are extenuating rare circumstances. But this will wrap up our interview and time now. But is there any last thoughts, maybe how you want someone to reach out to you, whether it's text you a certain number
Right.
and text maybe fit to
Right.
your phone number or some other method? Any last thoughts you want to say? Now's your time to do it.
So the best way to contact me would be on my Twitter, which is at King Mensa Musa on Twitter, obviously. And also, I have my cell phone available on me for personal consultation. I'm able to come to you, train you at your gym, train you wherever, whether it's nature, space, anywhere in the middle of a volcano. We can train anywhere as long as you're willing. I'm always willing as well. So I can give you my phone number, It's a very, very easy number to remember. It's 561-699-6595. Very easy. It rhymes.
If you put fit in that phone number when you text him, I'm sure he'll
Oh,
respond
yes.
right away. The volcanic personal trainer at your service, Arnaud Kassi, which he was named after Arnold Schwarzenegger, and
That's
then
right.
some. Today we've been learning about weight training and cardio, which is better. He told us about his favorite exercise or move,
That's
as he likes to call it. He also told us one of his the most important muscle to work on. I think maybe he's alluding to bicep, but I think he mentioned something else in there.
The
Check
glutes.
that out. He said glutes. What is the most ignored muscle when it comes to weight training? He told us about when he starts with a new client on their fitness journey, a little bit about maybe the process, what's the most challenging part of being a personal trainer, how he developed his own passion for training. I think it had to do with Papa Kassi.
Yep.
And hi, Mr. Kassi out there. I hope he's still around and I hope he's still kicking
Yep.
for sure. Who do you look up to in the fitness world? He shared that. I think it had to do with Sylvester and Arnold
That's right.
and Papa Kassi. He told us what is the most important exercise in weight training. And he told us the secret about dieting. You heard it here at omgtalk.com. And we met Arnaud Kassi here today. Thanks so much for joining us. I'll give you an opportunity to say any last thoughts before I actually hit the button, and that's it.
All right. Last thought will be you don't have to exercise hard as long as you're aware that movements are movements. Just select a specific time, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and just consciously move and count that as your exercise. If not, if that's not enough, you can always come to the gym or you can always reach out to me and I'll train you.
Fantastic, Arnaud. And by the way, if you want to get on omgtalk.com, you could either go to omgtalk.com and click through and see the last 5 live streams and just leave a note under the YouTube video that you want to be in a live stream and I'll reach out to you. Or you can go to my Calendly and just right on the screen there, if you could see it on YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn, livemore.net/Paul Finkelstein is another way to reach out to me. Thanks so much for joining me here today with Arnaud Kassi. And listen to this story. It's very interesting. You can't hear it because I have the headphones on, Arnaud, but you'll have to hear it later when you listen to your Twitter or LinkedIn or
No
YouTube.
problem.
This is a love story about a guy looking for love online. And when he does, he finds someone and asks her out to dinner. She just wants a cup of coffee. Find out how the story ends. Spoiler alert, they are still together. Listen to the OMG Talk Show with Paul Finkelstein on YouTube to hear the rest of the story.
What you were just listening to was actually Tony from trcvoiceovers.com doing the outro to omgtalk.com. He mentions the early adopters, Paul and Sarah Finkelstein. They met online at 10 a.m. on April 18, 1998, over a cost of the most expensive coffee you could buy at Denny's. I can't even say that word where I'm at right now. I'm sure they'll forgive me, an undisclosed location. But that being said, check that out at omgtalk.com and click on shows, my YouTube, and you could hear that 5-minute story as well. Thanks for joining me, Arnaud. And until next time, ciao for now, everybody. Have a fantastic